All right, guys. Today we're talking about some big news coming out of the LTA North. Disguised is once again making some moves. They have been kind of the main team making moves in this LTA North offseason so far. And we got this tweet from Disguised actually themselves. They said, Disguised LTA roster update. We are announcing the movement of Scary Jerry to our bench. He will continue working together with the team and streaming moving forward. So a lot of the community was definitely confused and not very happy about this move. Now, if you know anything about the North American community in general, they like when you have some North American players getting an opportunity, and when they kind of feel like they got the raw end of the deal or were unfairly treated or whatever, even if they're not necessarily playing the best, which, yeah, I'm sure Scary Jerry, he's not like looking the best individually right now or anything like that, but he was also in what was a very, very tough situation on Disguised, where they're one of the worst teams in the league. They have so many issues, so many, different things going on. I'm sure they have like management issues, coaching staff issues, synergistic issues. This project is just barely getting off the ground, barely getting started, and they haven't really even got to play that many games this year. That's also another thing that people are talking about, because the LTA North schedule has been kind of weird and bad. I think Disguise has played like 20 games or something this year. So you bring in a rookie, you bring in an inexperienced player, he gets to play a handful of matches, and now you are moving him to the bench. But also, at the same time, there is very, very real relegation concerns for Disguise, because they are that guest slot team in the LTA North, and they have to defend their position at the end of the year. So, yes, it might seem like Disguise is desperate and just kind of clicking buttons and making different roster moves. They bring in this roster, and then now Abidage's out. Now Scary Jerry's out. Who knows who they're bringing in, whatever. But there probably is a lot of desperation. There probably is a lot of, having to make rash, harsh decisions, heat of the moment, quick thinking. You don't have time to wait and see how projects are going to work out all the time, when again relegation is a big issue, and that was one of the things that franchising was supposed to provide. It was supposed to provide stability. It was supposed to provide the opportunity to take chances on players and build out long-term projects and all that stuff. And obviously, I think most people would argue, and most people can understand, that is not really what has happened in the LCS or the LTA North or whatever over the past couple of years. But now, as soon as we bring back relegation, or at least relegation on a small scale, we're already seeing how teams can get really hasty in terms of their decision making and all that stuff. But we do also know the next AD carry that is going to be playing for Disguise now in the LTA North. That is going to be, according to Sheep Esports here on Twitter, former SK Gaming AD carry Rahel is set to join Disguise in the LTA North. The move aims to improve the team's chances of avoiding relegations. This one comes from LEC Wooloo himself, as he says he is back from vacation, so now we can expect tons of Wooloo bangers coming our way. I think Wooloo's hanging out in China for a while, which is pretty cool. I know he posted some pictures from that. That's always exciting to see. So Rahel is set to join Disguise in the LTA. Scary Jerry benched amid relegation concerns. After up and down results in the LEC, Rahel will make his LTA debut later this year. Disguise, the LTA North's back-to-back last place team, not a title you want to hold, especially, like I said, when you have relegation hanging over your head, is set to replace Scary Jerry with Korean AD carry Rahel. For the second year in a row, Rahel is set to make a regional debut with a floundering team to save their summer split. Internally, DSG felt they needed to bench their rookie AD carry to avoid relegation. Though coaching staff and management were impressed with Scary Jerry's improvement over the course of the year, especially given a midseason coaching staff change that changed their competitive environment significantly, top NACL teams could have dethroned DSG in its winter and spring competitive form. The team only played 20 games this year and doesn't have much time for the relegation tournament. For that reason, the team decided to retain Scary Jerry as a competitive prospect moving forward, hoping to continue fostering his development under Rahel. After parting ways with Abidage last week, it became clear that DSG would need to focus on its roster overhaul around a new import. With Scary Jerry underperforming heavily in a competitive bot lane pool, a new carry could revitalize the team. On the other hand, DSG will need to pick up a mid laner with NA residency. So who is that going to be? Definitely looking out for that. Should be interesting. Most likely, the team will pair this acquisition with a rookie North American mid laner from the NACL. Interestingly, Rahel previously played with Cloud9 top laner Thanatos and Lion mid laner Saint during his time in the LCK Challengers League. The three are poised for a reunion. If DSG doesn't turn the results around, they'll be on shaky ground heading into the relegation tournament against NA's strongest Tier 2 rosters. Above all, for the first year in Tier 1 League of Legends, DSG wants to retain their spot. That's definitely their first goal. It's definitely the most important goal. You can't even have a Year 2 if you're not even in the league anymore, obviously. Roster changes were unavoidable. Rahel, after joining SK in the LEC last year, was benched in favor of Kadui following a 9th place finish in the winter split. Last year, Rahel and Luon helped catapult SK into a shocking first place finish in the summer regular season. After a roster overhaul in the offseason, though, the magic was gone. Though other players were arguably far more culpable for SK's winter results this year, SK decided to bench Rahel alongside Yzma, who went on to find far more success with Giant X. With SK once again placing 9th in the spring split, Rahel is looking to prove them wrong. Similarly, if he saves DSG from relegation, he'll prove he was no one-hit wonder. So very, very interesting move. Again, people are not happy that Scary Jerry is bench. But if Rahel comes in and saves DSG's season, again, they don't need to go to Worlds. They don't need to win a championship or anything like that. They just need to survive. I think overall this move will be seen as a, at least short-term success, but they are in a very, very weird and stressful and crazy situation. So they probably are having to make some pretty desperate moves. I can at least understand that. But just want to say real quick as well, everything we do here at Sheep Esports is powered by Holy. These are great tasting energy drinks that also just so happen to be healthier than the competition. So check out that first link in the description below. Pick up some Holy today. We have those discount codes SE5 and SE10. They're going to help you get an even better deal. And obviously it would help support us as well, which we would all appreciate. So hopefully catch you guys in the next video. Until then, peace.